Welcome to Adults. What do they know? Do they know things? Let's find out. I'm Mr. Peanut Butters. Our guest today is Bennett Johnston. Our first question is, when did you become an adult? What makes someone an adult? By my best guess, the moment I became an adult was before I turned 18, in New Mexico, more specifically Philmont, when I was a Boy Scout. It was day 5 of 12 of our summer journey. After 3 days in desert fun, and eventually through the hail and pain, we pitched camp on Baldy Mountain. By this point, it rained every day. A kind of rain that you try to sleep to, but only rushes your thoughts like wind in a storm. You would have felt nostalgic for a time and place you never knew. You would have felt like a new person. Every 2 days, we received rations from stations along the trail. The scouts picked it up. On this particular day, we ordered too much food. We ordered too many delicious tortillas. We returned with our bounty of kneaded and heated flour to an unwelcome reception. In a circle surrounding the problem, our cornucopia, one adult stepped forward in rage and passion. What are we going to do with all this food? People lose their shit all the time. I've seen countless examples before this on television, in real life. People going bonkers. This one stood out. Don't know if it was the dehydration or the altitude. I realized something that I hadn't realized before. Adults are just like us, prone to faults, imperfect, illogical. What's my definition then? An adult is someone who knows that they don't have to be perfect and don't have to be a stellar role model. Someone who's self-reflective and is able of empathetic connections. Amazing! That was really something. We also asked the same questions to your friends and family. Wait, what?
Luke, what is your definition of an adult?
When they lose all their baby teeth and they grow very, very tall.
How old are you?
9 years old.
Okay. And what is your definition of an adult?
Responsible, mature, and understanding.
Okay. So when does somebody become an adult?
I think somebody becomes an adult when they realize the way to help another person. So.
I'm Chuck Douglas. I'm 70 years old and a retired electrician.
What does it mean to be an adult, and when do you become an adult?
When you realize you are responsible for all your actions. Okay, when they become an adult is when they realize they are totally responsible for their actions. When you have to make life-changing decisions.
Okay, Mike. What is your definition of an adult?
I'm not there yet.
And how old are you, and how many kids do you have?
In my 40s, and I have 3.
Firstly, how old are you?
I'm 14 years old.
What?
14.
Okay. What is your definition of an adult?
Someone who has responsibility for themselves and for other people and knows what they're doing with their life.
I'm not an adult then. So when does somebody become an adult?
When they learn to take responsibility for themselves and how others, like if someone does something bad, and they're not afraid to be like, this is what happened, this is how it happened, and I'm telling the full truth. So.
Oh my gosh. That's a good question. I think there's always a moment that you're like, fuck this, I can do this. I'm an adult. And you're like there's that moment, but it's never
that
never
moment when
the
you
same.
can get ice cream whenever you want.
Yeah, when you can decide that.
Yeah.
When you have that cognitive
But you're old enough to realize maybe I shouldn't have ice cream.
Yeah, I shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? That was a lot. But there's a lot else that goes into adulthood. Depending on culture, who is and who is an adult is different. Bar and bat mitzvahs are held at 13. The minimum voting age around the world ranges from 16 to 25. The definition has changed over time. In the US, you had to be 21 to vote, but could be drafted into the military and have your first beer at 18. Maybe being or becoming an adult isn't about concrete events, abilities, or biological features. Maybe it's the abstract characteristics. Independence, caretaking, empathy, logical, mature. But if one of those characteristics isn't met, does that disqualify them? Can one lose this title of being an adult? Can one be forced into adulthood? Be forced into one of these characteristics? Are there barriers to becoming an adult? Barriers to being independent, free? You're asking a lot of questions, and I thought I was the host. Why? Don't ask me why. Never, under any circumstance, if it is remotely within your power to resist the impulse, never ask a man why. It tightens a fellow up. If you may, torture. Self-reflection is a vice best conducted in private or not at all. Well, I'll answer your question out of sheer weariness, but I truly don't know what I'm about to say. I've tried for so long to understand why I am the way I am. I've tried for so long to find meaning. Am I worthy of others? Am I worthy of myself? Being an adult is how I measure success right now. Am I right to feel this? Am I the right person? Right and wrong, those are just words. What matters is what you do. What matters for adults, your actions, which subsequently have consequences for some. The people who depend on you, your responsibilities, your regrets. Well, that's all the time we have. Is there anything else you want to say, Bennett? I thank you for indulging my never-ending thirst for hopeless meaning in the sad reality we call home. Cheer up! Through my journey of pain and constant reflection, what I found that matters is how you decide to bring joy. I'll leave you a quote from my dear friend, Morgan Freeman, from the movie The Bucket List. You know, the ancient Egyptians had a beautiful belief about death. When their souls got to the entrance to heaven, the guards asked 2 questions. Their answers determined whether they were able to enter or not. Have you found joy in your life? Has your life brought joy to others? That's what an adult is all about.
Mr. Blue.